Hello everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Summaries. We're excited to bring you another deep dive, this time into Exodus chapters 19 to 24. If you've been following along, you'll know that the Israelites have experienced some awe-inspiring events, from the Red Sea parting to receiving divine advice from Jethro. If you're new here and you want to start from the beginning, we've got the complete series on the book of Genesis as well as the earlier chapters of Exodus all lined up for you. Just head to our channel and catch up at your own pace. Today, we're diving into a pivotal section of the book of Exodus. It's in these chapters that we witness Moses ascending Mount Sinai multiple times, where he receives not just the 10 Commandments but also the finer points of God's covenant with Israel. As always, while we provide summaries and insights, nothing can replace reading the Bible for yourself. We're using the King James Version for these studies, but feel free to follow along in the version you're most comfortable with. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Exodus chapter 19. In this chapter, we've reached a significant moment in the Israelites' journey, their arrival at Mount Sinai. After breaking camp in Rephidim, they arrive at the wilderness of Sinai and set up camp at the base of the mountain. Moses then ascends Mount Sinai to meet God, who outlines the covenant he wants to establish with the Israelites. He tells Moses that if the Israelites obey him and keep his covenant, they will be his treasured possession, a kingdom of priests, and a holy nation. Moses descends to relay this message to the people, who unanimously agree to follow God's commandments. God instructs Moses to prepare the people for his descent upon Mount Sinai in 3 days. This involves setting boundaries around the mountain that no one is allowed to cross. As God descends, Mount Sinai is filled with smoke, and the air reverberates with the sounds of thunder, lightning, and a loud trumpet blast. It's a moment that signifies the deepening of the covenant between God and his people, a moment so awe-inspiring that it's bound to leave you speechless. Exodus chapter 20. In Exodus chapter 20, we arrive at a monumental moment in biblical history, the giving of the 10 Commandments. God articulates these timeless moral laws from Mount Sinai, echoing through thunder, lightning, and smoke, to solidify his covenant with the Israelites. The 10 Commandments cover everything from honoring God and keeping the Sabbath holy to ethical behaviors like not stealing or committing adultery. It serves as a moral compass that guides not just the Israelites but humanity for generations to come. The awe-inspiring nature of this revelation is so intense that the Israelites plead with Moses to speak with God on their behalf, for they are afraid they might die if they hear God directly. Moses reassures them, emphasizing that the fear of God will keep them from sinning. As the chapter concludes, God gives instructions about building altars for sacrifices. These should be made of earth or uncut stones, emphasizing the simplicity and purity that should characterize worship. It's a chapter that's not just historically significant but one that's eternally relevant, offering moral guidelines that have stood the test of time. Exodus chapter 21. In Exodus chapter 21, the narrative shifts from divine commandments to civil and social laws, as God provides Moses with a detailed legal code for the Israelite community. The laws start with rules on Hebrew slavery, stating that a Hebrew slave is to serve for 6 years and must be freed in the 7th year. From there, the chapter explores laws about personal injuries, including the famous principle of an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. This eye-opening code serves as a precursor to many modern legal systems. The chapter also covers other issues like property rights, especially concerning livestock. For example, if an ox gores someone, what should be the consequences? Here, responsibility falls not just on the ox but also on the owner. Moreover, the chapter outlines laws concerning family matters like the conditions under which a daughter can be sold as a maidservant, setting up a framework that aims for societal structure and justice. It's a complex chapter, teeming with early jurisprudence that has influenced legal systems for millennia. Exodus chapter 22. Exodus chapter 22 continues to outline a series of laws and regulations, diving into topics like property rights and social justice. The chapter begins by addressing the restitution required for stolen livestock. If you steal an ox or a sheep and then slaughter or sell it, you must pay back several times the animal's value. The chapter also covers what to do in cases of property damage, like when fire spreads to thorn bushes and consumes fields. The individual who started the fire is responsible for restitution. Moving on, we encounter laws about borrowing. If you borrow an animal and it dies while you have it, you're liable for it, underlining the idea of personal responsibility. The chapter also takes a strict stance on practices like witchcraft, stating that sorcerers should not be allowed to live. Moreover, it enforces social justice, emphasizing the importance of helping vulnerable people like widows and orphans. All in all, Exodus 22 offers a complex framework for dealing with both civil and ethical issues, ensuring that fairness and justice are upheld within the community. Exodus chapter 23. In Exodus chapter 23, the focus continues to be on laws and guidelines, but here, they expand into areas like justice, festivals, and divine guidance. First off, the chapter stresses the importance of truth and impartiality in the legal system. It advises against spreading false reports and insists on fair judgment. Additionally, it discusses the Sabbath, both for the people and the land. Every seventh year, the land should rest, and its produce shall be available to the needy. The chapter also outlines the three major festivals that the Israelites are to celebrate: the festival of unleavened bread, the festival of harvest, and the festival of ingathering. God promises to send an angel to guide and protect the Israelites, emphasizing the need to heed divine advice. Finally, the chapter describes how God will gradually drive out the enemies of the Israelites, ensuring a steady takeover of the land. Through its diverse guidelines, Exodus chapter 23 offers a holistic approach to communal living, promoting both spiritual and social well-being. Exodus chapter 24. In Exodus chapter 24, we see a dramatic shift from laws to the sealing of the covenant between God and his people. Moses, along with Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 elders of Israel, ascends partway up Mount Sinai. There, they confirm the covenant through a sacrificial offering, sprinkling the blood upon the altar and the people, symbolizing their unity with God. Next, Moses receives instructions to climb higher up the mountain, where he will receive the tablets of stone containing God's commandments. But before doing so, Moses and the chosen leaders witness God, describing what seems to be a transparent, sapphire-like floor under him. Moses then climbs further up into the cloud that envelopes Mount Sinai, where he remains for 40 days and 40 nights. The chapter concludes with the glory of the Lord covering the mountaintop, so captivating and intense that Moses had to wait 7 days before entering God's presence. It's a chapter brimming with theophany and sacred experiences, creating a palpable anticipation for what comes next. Wow, what an incredible journey we've just taken through Exodus chapters 19 to 24. From the booming voice of God on Mount Sinai to the intricacies of the covenant, it's clear that these chapters are filled with awe-inspiring moments and essential teachings. So, let's hear from you. 1. How do you think the Israelites felt when they heard God's voice? 2. What do you make of the social and moral laws laid out in these chapters? 3. Is there a particular commandment that struck a chord with you? Why? These are crucial moments in the spiritual journey of the Israelites, and they offer a lot of food for thought for us as well. Your feedback is vital to our community, so please drop your insights in the comments below. Remember, we're using the King James Version for our studies, but we encourage you to explore the Bible in a version that suits you. After all, the best way to appreciate these stories and all their depth is to read the Bible for yourself. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, so you never miss an episode of Spiritual Summaries.